guys, it's Liv and welcome back to my channel Endless Pages. Today's video is going to be my TBR for the month of January. So I had big plans for January. I was going to try and do a couple of readathons or even just like pull prompts out of a jar kind of thing. But I literally ran out of time to do any readathons or anything like that. And I just didn't think I had enough prompts to make it an interesting video. So for the first month of this year, I'm just going to pick the books that I want to read myself. This year I will be doing a read along, and the first book in January is The Poppy War by Aurora Rising. This is a young adult fantasy series, and the read along is hosted by Clumsy Charlotte, Jane from the Bookaholic, we've got Mythical Megan and Sunshine Lorena. I will I will post the Twitter for that read along and all the ladies' individual channels in the description below. I don't really know much about this book, but I'm kind of wanting to go in with as little knowledge as I can. Basically, it's about Rin, and she passes this test called the Keiju, and it's a test to find the most talented students in the Nicaragua Empire, and that means she gets into Sinigard. It's the most elite military school, and she discovers she has the power of this mystical art called shamanism. And Rin is also fighting the prejudice of her classmates, as she is a dark-skinned peasant girl from the south. So Rin learns that gods thought dead are very much alive, and that mastering these powers could mean more than just surviving school. For while the Empire is at peace, the Federation of Mugen still lurks across the narrow sea. The Federation occupied Nikan for decades after the First Poppy War, and only barely lost the continent in the second. And while people calmly go about their lives, a few are aware that the Third Poppy War is just a spark away. I have heard absolutely everyone raving about how good this book series is, and I do love me a fantasy, so I'm excited that I'll be able to read along with lots of other people. Next up, I want to read The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Cloon. This is a young adult novel, and we follow Arthur, who is a caseworker for the Department of Magical Youth, and he is summoned one day by extremely upper management, and they tell him that he needs to travel to this distant island where there's an orphanage, and discover whether 6 of the kids at this orphanage are dangerous enough that they're going to bring about the end of the world. And while he's at the orphanage, he begins to grow closer with the orphanage's master, whose name is Arthur, and Linus realizes that Arthur will do anything to protect these children. There's a line in the blurb that I want to read that's really cool. So The House in the Cerulean Sea is an enchanting love story, masterfully told about the profound experience of discovering an unlikely family in an unexpected place and realizing that family is yours. So it's got my favourite trope, found family, so I've got to read it, right? So the third book I want to read is Aurora's End by Amy Kaufman and J. Kristoff. I know J. Kristoff. Let's not even talk about him anyway. This is the third book in the Aurora Rising trilogy. This is kind of a space opera, sci-fi kind of book, and it's also young adult. I can't tell you about this one obviously, but I'll tell you about the first book in the series, Aurora Rising. And this starts off with, we follow a guy called Tyler Jones. Tyler Jones is, I don't know how you would describe him. It's like the star pupil of this place called the Aurora Academy. And this is also set in the year 2380, yeah, 2380 in the future. Anyway, so Tyler is like this star pupil, and he's ready to get the pick of the best Aurora Academy squad members, but he ends up getting stuck with all of like the leftovers, the people, the misfits that no one wants. And Tyler also rescues this girl called Aurora, who is being stuck in like a cryo sleep kind of pod. I don't think I described that well, for 2 centuries, and she could be the catalyst that starts a war millions of years in the making, and Tyler's squad is the only one that might be able to do anything about it. So it's kind of a really like found family kind of space adventure, and multiple perspectives, and really funny as well, like laugh out loud funny. So this came out like I think November last year, but I ordered a special edition, so it didn't get here till like one of the last days of the year, unfortunately. So Also, it's been a while since the other book, the second book in the series, Aurora Burning, came out, and like a lot goes on in that book. And I just want a refresher before I read this book. So I'm like, I might get it on audiobook, Aurora Burning, the second one, and just listen to it there. So that'll be a bit quicker than reading the whole book over again, because I just want a quick refresher before I get into Aurora's End. The next book I want to read in January is The Assassin's Apprentice by Rob and Hobb. Ever since I purchased this book, I've been seeing on everyone's YouTube channel Rob and Hobb books, just like all over their channels. I feel like it's a sign that it was a good purchase, especially when I make Bex from Bewitched Bex proud by finally reading this book and adding it to a TBR. So Beck, if you're watching this, I hope you're happy. This is an adult fantasy series, and we follow a young boy called Fitz, and Fitz is the bastard son of the crown prince of a place called the Six Duchies. And Fitz has a bit of a sad life. He just kind of lives in a barn and hangs out with the animals there and the children of the lower city. And to make use of Fitz, he's trained as an assassin and trained to use the traditional magic of the Farseer family, and Fitz must survive or he may be determined to save the kingdom. I'm very excited to get into Robin Hobb. I hope I love her because she has very, very many series, so I hope I found a new favourite author and I can binge all of her great series. The final thing I want to read in January is Lore Olympics. This is by Rachel Smith. I believe this was a webtoon, which I didn't know about, and it's been made into a physical format. This is volume 1 of a series, and this is a Greek mythology retelling of Persephone and Hades. So Persephone is the young goddess of the spring, and she's new to Olympus. Her mother has raised her in the mortal realm, but after Persephone promises to train as a sacred virgin, she's allowed to live in the fast-moving, glamorous world of the gods. And her roommate Artemis takes her to a party, and she meets Hades, and she feels an immediate spark with him. And Hades obviously is the ruler of the underworld, so Persephone must navigate the confusing politics and relationships that rule Olympus while also finding out her own place and her own power. This sounds really cool. I'm currently on my Greek mythology obsession and the illustrations look gorgeous. I'm very excited to jump into this. Especially because Lizzie from Lizzie Reads said it was a fantastic read, so now I'm even more excited. So there we go, they're the 5 reads that I want to get into in January. I'm starting myself off with an achievable goal of 5 reads because I know I can do that. We don't want to start the year off with just expectations that I won't be able to reach. So I'm really excited. That's a really cool TBR. So I hope I enjoy each and every one of them. Let me know in the comments what your January reading plans are. Have you set a TBR? Or are you just gonna mood read? And have you read any of those books? I'd love to know your thoughts. In the video description you will find all the channels that I mentioned today and all of my socials. I recently just started a story graph, so if you want to follow me on there as well, I would love to chat with you guys. Thank you so much for watching another one of my videos, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!